to the No Agenda podcast, a place where we cut through the noise and the bullshit and get you to the topics that you're really looking forward to hearing. It's your host, Jimmy. I'm back with Jackson. How's it going on?
It's been going good, man. It's been a while. I know people that may think we've quit, but no, we've just been busy. You just got back from a pretty long field exercise. I've been busy with some bullshit at my unit, but let's get into what you did at your field exercise, man. I heard it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So basically, I've been gone. So we had an episode in mid-November, and we haven't been able to shoot since then. I think mostly that's because of just like busy schedules and stuff like that. But I have spent the last 3 weeks at Fort Riley, Kansas, and so we had so we're prepping to go out of the country, obviously for like OPSEC reasons. I'm not gonna say where. It's not like anything crazy, but we had gunnery, so it would be convoy operations, shooting from moving vehicles or shooting from like Humvees, so 50 cal, 240 Bravos, and Mark 19s. We started with a LUTAC course, which is, I think it's like law enforcement. Here, let me actually double check real quick, but LUTAC.
And while you're checking, I know you mentioned I know we're both medics in the Army, but you mentioned shooting the saw. I know you have a good story about that you told me quite a few times. I know I would love to hear it again one more time. Brief everyone on how well you did at shooting, how much you flex on everyone, how much better you are. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so to finish up that first part, LUTAC stands for Law Enforcement Weapons Training and Qualification. So I'm attached to an MP unit, so we do a lot of like law enforcement tactics, but we're actually a combat support unit. So there's LEO, so LENO type MPs, and then you have combat support MPs. So I'll break that down first real quick. So LEO or LEO is law enforcement operations. So those are the MPs that patrol your base. They handle they're just like typical police for a base. And then you have combat support. So essentially our role is, I don't want to compare it to like infantry, but our job is to kind of we do a lot of, I think, taking care of, high value targets behind, after they've been captured and stuff like that, or like convoy, moving munitions and logistics and stuff like that. So I say high value targets with quotations around it because it's not quite it's not cool, but the law enforcement weapons training or LUTAC is really cool. So initially we started on a pistol course, right? So I'll walk you through this. The MPs do this LUTAC course with their pistol where you start at 2 meters and you have 2 seconds. You draw your pistol and you shoot from the hip, like John Wayne style. And you have to get two. Yeah, no, it's awesome. You get two chest shots, right?
Some and John Wick shit?
Yeah, they call me John Helldiver, but it's fine. But so that's your initial. Then you back up to about, I want to say somewhere between 4 and 5 meters, and it's a low ready. So you start at the low ready with your pistol, buzzer goes off, you pull up, you draw your 2 in the chest. Then you back up to maybe 7 meters, and we have what's called a failure drill. So if you've ever seen Garand Thumb, kind of got my Garand Thumb on for the past 3 weeks. So It was 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. You had 4 seconds. And you would continue to do that. I think you did that 3 times in a row. Every shot that you missed outside of those boxes, right? So if you didn't hit your headshot, you kind of had the opportunity to make up for it. You could, on the next one, go 1 in the chest, 2 in the head, because headshots counted every time, but chest shots on a headshot didn't count. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, at this point, I was perfect through the first few rounds. I'd never done this before. Granted, my experience with the M17 is not very high. I'm actually going to go buy one, though, but that's a side note.
So, yeah, I was going to ask, so the M17 you used, and is it, I know, think about basic that we went through together, rifle qualification, I know the score's out of 40. Is it similar to that, or is it sounds kind of different? So, I'm curious, is it you get a certain score, or is it just, how does it work?
So for LUTAC, it's a little different. So you have, so I've done the M17 qual range, very easy. So The farthest shot is about 30 meters, and it's the same as the M4 qual. So they pop up one at a time. You have 30 rounds to attack, 30 meters and in. And the last one, which is cool about the M17 on the standard qualification, is you're actually moving, you're walking and shooting. So you start back at like 30 meters, but you're actually closing the gap at 15 meters. So you're slowly moving in, target pops, bang, bang. Then you keep moving in, bang, bang, like as you get to that final like 15-meter slot. I shot a perfect 30. That's not a flex. It's very easy to shoot a perfect 30. I think the first time I ever even shot it, I shot like a 28 just because like I think I threw around on like my target and I was kind of nervous. But expert is like 28 and up. So 30,
Okay.
and then I've shot a couple 30 cents. So the pistol M17 course, very simple. Everyone should be shooting a 30. If you have any experience, like how to manipulate a handgun, how to really like, establish a good purchase on that handgun and kind of dominate it, and good line of sight with the target, you're gonna do fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tracking. We just did that. I want to say a few months back, and our officers, they all failed. So maybe if
I mean,
you're
that's
enlisted, you have a good
embarrassing.
chance. But yeah, officers, they sat there for the whole day, and we had to wait for them to shoot, and they couldn't finish. So I don't know, man. But I mean, I wasn't there for that range. Is what I heard. I haven't shot a pistol yet. It sounds like you're doing a lot more than me. Being, you said reserve or National Guard?
Sorry, mic issue. Yeah, no, reserve. And yeah, the LUTAC was, I'll just button this up. Like there were like 12 different LUTAC courses, and I did like 5 of them. The coolest one I did was night shooting. So I don't know. I'm sure you've played like Call of
You,
Duty Modern
wait, so
Warfare 2.
you got to shoot under nods?
No, so you take your flashlight and you like put it underneath your pistol, like in Call of Duty, and you
Fuck yeah.
you like do the same course, but it's like draw and fire, and so you're like, like where you hold your flashlight kind of like a
Yeah.
backwards knife, and then you put your
A little,
pistol on top of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
A little like Tarkov almost. You know, I've been playing a lot of Tarkov recently. Excuse the reference. Did you max out the score on the night shooting, or what'd you get for that one?
I got like I want to say like 18 out of 20. So it's a 20 round iteration. It is.
Okay.
I think when you get to like one thing I realized, and I'm not like a professional shooter, is you don't have that left hand to stabilize your pistol, and you're kind of far back. You're like 15 to 25 meters back, which for a pistol is like a pretty good shot.
Well, especially at
So
nighttime too. Yeah, no, that's got to be a difficult shot. Like I said, I haven't yet to shoot a pistol in the army, and I'm active duty. You're fucking reserve. It's, excuse my language, but I get a little annoyed at it. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing a little more than me. I mean, being an MP unit too. I know. I mean, I'm jealous, man. To be honest. I mean, and from what I understand too, you guys got to use thermals as well.
yeah, we did. So for the convoy operation, the gunnery, they were using nods and thermals and gas masks.
Come
So
on,
what would
man.
happen? I'll just run you through a quick iteration. So
Yeah, run me through it.
they drive onto the range, and they get cleared hot. Basically, they'll pull down this range. This range is like probably like half a mile long. So you drive through it. So you hit your first set, you'll like engage, targets pop. They're typically like vehicle sized because you're trying to hit it with like a 50 or a Mark 19.
Yeah.
So you call out, you'll say target, call your 3Ds, 50 meters, probably more like 200 meters. 200 meters truck, 12 o'clock, whatever. And then
Yeah.
your TC or your VC, vehicle commander, will kind of holler back at you and alert you, hey, you're good to engage. You say on the way, you start engaging, make adjustments from there, bring it in. And eventually, so during the day, there was a day and night shoot. During the day shoot, you would, go through it like just like normal. You would get gas. So you go gas, 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 throw your mask on. You get shot. So you have to come down and your VC has to take over the gun. So it's like replacing, like how fast can your VC get on the gun because you've been hit. Pretty cool, by the way. But then, so like the night shoot, which was funny, we actually burned the range down. We burned range 18 down because tracer rounds lit all the dead grass on fire. I've got some footage of that I may put up here at this point. But
Yeah, you got to put that up.
We go through the night operation. So they're on nods, which looking at tracers through nods is incredible. I got some footage of that, but so you'll
But
do the same exact qualification, except now you have a thermal, and I don't know if they like heated up the. I don't know how they did it, but basically the targets pop and they're heated, so you can see them as either white
the
hot or black
targets
hot.
the targets were heated? Really? That's pretty cool. I mean, but were they like already like there for a while? I imagine if you're shooting like vehicles that have been there for a while that are just targets, that's kind of cool how they got hot. I mean,
So think like any standard range that you've ever seen, they pop. So the targets pop. So you don't. I mean,
mm,
you kind of know where they're going to be if you've done it before, but this is
yeah,
it's like the M4 the saw qual where they pop 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 pop. But on this one,
okay.
it's like it's the size of a truck, not the size of a human being. And instead of being 300 meters, it's like 500 meters to 1,000 meters.
Oh, okay, okay. And you're shooting on the 50 cal up top of the Humvee.
So you have the 50 cal, the 240 Bravo, or you have the Mark 19. Now, what I thought about the Mark 19 was really interesting during the day. So the 50 and the 240 use a tracer every 5 rounds, so you can see where you're at. So you can with the
Yeah,
naked eye see, right? The Mark 19, an explosive round, a 40 mic round, for those who aren't listening, is like an explosive. Like if you play Call of Duty, the noob tube that goes on the bottom of your M4, it's shooting that, but it's
yeah.
belt fed. It's belt fed explosive. So during the day, we'll shoot like some sort of kind of like confetti round, like a frag round that will hit the target, but it's not lethal because they don't want to go through frag rounds. At night, we shoot flashbangs so we can see where they're hitting, which was pretty cool. But then, so we do the flashbangs on the Mark 19, the tracers on the 50 and the 240 Bravo. After those guys would hit everything, they'd come back in, and you had to get a certain amount of points in order to qualify, in order to be basically like qualified. Hey, you're ready to go into a combat zone. That's kind of like you have to be like graded on it, and it was definitely a struggle. Like I think a lot of people didn't realize how stressful it was because you're timed on your commands, and from the moment the target pops, so you're losing points for every round that you don't hit for every second. Does that make sense?
Can you hear me? How copy?
Yeah, you're good. I'm just
That's
gonna have to
weird.
I'm gonna have
That's
to cut
weird.
that part
I
out.
don't. Yeah, cut that part out. I don't know what just
All right,
happened.
1240 through like 1350.
Yeah, write that down.
So what was the last thing you heard?
So yeah, you're telling me about the range where you're on top of the 50 cal, the what is it, the Mark 18, and then the 240. No, not the 240. Is it Mark 19 and then the
It's Mark
240?
19 and 240 Bravo. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean that sounds
So
pretty cool. I mean you're a reservist. I'm active duty. You sound like you're doing a little more work than I am. I mean, your range 3 weeks, that is a long time, but it sounds like you did a lot of cool shit. I heard stuff that you'd call me, tell me about stuff you're doing in the background as a medic too. Sounds like you actually get to do your job. And I also heard you recently got promoted to corporal because you're just that fucking squared away. Also, I know you have a story you're quite proud of, which is the what is it, the 240 range, the machine gun that you shot pretty fucking well on, especially when you weren't zeroed. You want to get into that story?
yeah. So real quick, yeah. No, I haven't been promoted yet. There's been like some talk about it. Basically, like, hey, you should start preparing yourself. I don't know if I'll ever get corporal or if I'll just go straight to like an E5 situation,
Yeah,
which I'm really motivated for, just because like I don't know, I really want to lead troops, and I think I've had a good
yeah.
like past two like ATs where I've really had a chance to kind of show off a little bit that I actually know
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
doing
I
as a
think you'd I
medic.
think you'd be a good NCO too. I think you'd be a good leader, showing guys what it's really about.
So, I kind of earned this slot, but we went on to the range. They had a couple extra belts of 249. So I took the 249 on the range, and I was just like, "Hey, just give me your fucking gun, dude. I'm just gonna go out here. I'm just getting to shoot, right? The medic's always happy when he gets to shoot." So I go up
Yeah.
there, I pull up on the lane, right, and I've got a sergeant. He's like, "Hey, you know how this thing works?" I'm like, "Yes, I know how this fucking thing works. Like, don't worry about it." And targets pop, and I'm way off, dude. This zero is way off. So like, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see how good I really am. So basically, we're using an ACOG scope Probably like a 4 times ACOG scope, which if you know anything about the 249 saw, you should be running it's a different type of ACOG. It's kind of like it's a circle with like multiple circles below it. Whereas like the M4 ACOG that we were running on the 249, which you're not supposed to, is like it's got like a straight index line with a kind of like a chevron at the top. The chevron
Yeah.
indicates 300 meters in that top of the post basically is your 25 and your 300 meter. So I'm not going to get into ballistics, right? But
Yeah.
I see where these targets are hitting. I'm like, man, I'm hitting way high and left. Obviously, you should be aiming low and right or low and left on your targets already because the saw will pull you in a direction. But I decided like, hey, I see where the impact is. I'm gonna hold my sight picture on that dust, and I'm gonna adjust off there. And I was so scared about missing ammo that I just started one tapping targets, just like just pulling the trigger real quick, just like slapping the trigger, which you shouldn't do, but trying to get one round off to save belt fed ammunition. And I ended up shooting like a sharpshooter, which was pretty good because I was like making a zero basically in the middle of this iteration and then coming back with like 20 rounds of 5.56. And the dude, so my safety, the sergeant, he comes off. He's like, this motherfucker just went out there and just like single fired half the targets.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. That's a belt fed. You're single firing, hitting the targets. You're not zeroed in. I don't think a lot of people out there could do that. Once again, I have no experience on it, so I don't really know. But that's a feat right there for sure. I know. Yeah, that's. I know you're proud of that story, dude. I wish I get a chance, dude. Maybe I could, compete with you a little bit. We'll see. I know you have a little better rifle experience,
I would
but
say this.
yeah,
I
quite
would
a
I would say this about people. So like I get a lot of the like, why are you in the reserves and active duty or National Guard type thing, right? And I would say, so I put my paperwork in to go active duty, and obviously it's not going to work out because I'm getting deployed right now. Very unique situation. But what I would say is active duty has to do the same job every day. So therefore, like their job every day isn't as exciting. It's not always their job. Like it's not
Yeah, I
always the
could.
job that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I
Whereas
can
like
speak from that from experience. Yeah, like I'm a medic. We're both medics, right? I don't. The last time I did a CCA combat casualty assessment was in the field 3 months ago. The last time before that was when we went to AIT together. Yeah, it will get to you. It all depends on what unit. A lot of the army's luck, but as you're saying, like when you show up, it sounds like you actually get to do your shit. You train. You don't do the bullshit that's required because you're there for, like you said, to fucking train.
exactly. So like we spent 5 weeks at Fort Riley this year, minus our drill time, right? So when we're there to work. Like it is 05 to I think midnight, and they're operating in shifts. They are rotating guys through. We were range day, range day, range day every day on the range shooting. It is a very deliberate and it is a very like conceited effort at trying to get guys through the range and qualified. We are not there to fuck around. And I do think like because my wife's active duty and I get a little bit of a taste of it. And obviously I hear from you and you're not the only person. Like I hear from other people I talk to and they're like, "Man, we barely do our job." And that is one thing about
Yeah.
the reserves like when I show up, I'm the medic. I'm doc. Like I get people come to me, people talk to me. They come to me for every need. Like I had multiple instances where I've had to take people to the hospital in the past 3 weeks to month because I'm like, hey, I need to do an assessment on you because you're sick. Oh, your blood pressure's, true story right now, fucking 214 over 120. We're going to the ER right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that is
and
wild.
yeah, exactly. And like active duty, like sure you could do that, but there's just so much red tape and
There's so
bullshit.
much. Yeah, no, it's there's a saying in my unit, we're the coordinators of bullshit. It's all we do. Like I just said my story about the lack of training we do. I think you're lucky, man. I think a lot of the army is about luck. Like we have our friend Allred, who's he's done a lot. He's got his EFMB, his air assault, his airborne. He's done a lot. A lot of the army is about luck. But if you're doing it, go in with a plan. And I mean, yeah, look at you, man. You get to shoot all these cool weapon systems. You're assigned to a cool unit, and when you show up, you do your fucking job, man. I mean, I'm
If
envious of you, to be honest. I really am. I wish I did my job more often, but in my unit, it's all medics. It's just yeah, coordinators of bullshit, man.
Man, if I had to give an advice, like if someone came to me and was like, I want to enlist, but the army, 'cause the army only has this problem. Like other branches don't really have this
Yeah,
problem. If they were like, I'm confused, like, should I go to the National Guard, the reserves, or active? I would say, so so based on your job, obviously, right? But let's say medic, for example, like combat support type units. I would I would go reserve. The reason
hmm
why reserve can go anywhere because they're federal. So they can go to a National Guard unit and support them. They can go to an active duty unit and support them. They can go to a reserve unit and support them. National Guard can only go to a National Guard unit because they're state funded. So the state has to release them. Now, National Guard is amazing. Like sometimes it depends on your state and your unit, and this probably comes down to active duty too. But with National Guard, like your funding level can dictate the training in which you do. I have seen National Guard
hundred
units do
percent.
shit that I've like, that is fucking high speed. Like I have
Yeah,
seen dudes get on choppers. I have seen dudes like blow shit up, live in the woods for 3 weeks, and push objectives with chalk rounds and all kinds of stuff. Stuff that I've never even
really.
seen active duty do.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
state
hundred
funding is
percent.
so great. But
Yeah,
active duty, like if you're in the 82nd or the 101st or,
you're
one
doing
of
that
the,
shit a
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
doing that shit a lot. Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. You talk about advice. Like if you're going into the army and you're ever thinking about it, go for a high speed unit. I know it's a big dream. It's hard. Go out for that. Sign an airborne contract. Sign a selection contract. Go out for it. Because I'm speaking from experience right now. I am not really doing a lot. I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that happy with the lack of stuff I get to do. Also, talking to you about the stuff you get to do in a reserve unit. It is night and day. It truly is. So if you think about joining the army, go for it. Don't fucking half-ass it. Fucking go for it. And I think about that too. Like if you ever join me in active, or even if you don't, I've been thinking about going out to some sort of selection, all that. But yeah, man, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. You get to shoot cool fucking weapon systems. You get to do a lot. It sounds like, and yeah, you don't have to show up for the bullshit, which I have to every
Yeah,
day. But
I mean the truth is, and we'll segment here in like a couple minutes,
yeah,
but like I talked to, so like our both of our company commanders and AIT when we were at Foxtrot,
hmm
232 Medical Battalion down in Fort Sam, Houston, was a reservist from Kansas City, ironically, and he ultimately ended up going 160th SOAR. So I'm not going to oust him. I'm not going to say his name. But when I talked to him at our culminating FTX, the Fort Bliss exercise, he told me, he's like, hey, oh, you're from Kansas City. Oh, that's awesome. I was a reservist there. And then one day I just decided I wanted to go 160th SOAR. I put in a packet, tried out, made it, and he saw all kinds of shit. The Army is very much, more than any other branch, in my opinion, a what you make of it opportunity. And that's
hundred
where
percent.
like the reserves for me has been such a blessing because I can kind of put in packets. Like I constantly request, I'm like, hey, I want Ranger School. I want Ranger School. I want Ranger School. And they're like, well, we don't really get that. But if you aim for the highest, you might come in a little lower and get air assault. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even in my unit in active duty, like it's so for example, like you get after AIT, after basic, if you don't have like airborne or selection in your contract, your unit has to pay for that. So it's very rare to get it. But if you are a squared away soldier who's super motivated, you will get that. Like we have this sergeant who recently went to airborne. He got it. We have a sergeant asking for airborne right now because he's squared away. He does his fucking job well, going to airborne in the next month or two. It's like you said, all about how you make it. And yeah, I'm trying to put in stuff right now, but it's just difficult because I'm so new. But yeah, man, I kind of wish I did it different. Like, people ask like if you could do it different. Ask my drill sergeant this, what would you do? And I mean, yeah, just keep going for it. That's pretty much the thing you can go for. Just keep fucking pushing. If you ever join the army, just go for it. I mean, there's so many opportunities, not just in the army, other branches too. But I mean, yeah, it's just all about how you make it.
Yeah, it's genuinely been the best experience of my life. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's good to
shocking
hear.
because I think people like you have to have like a certain mentality for it. Like I definitely saw like
Yeah,
people in my
yeah,
unit that had dropped or quit or are having health issues or mental health issues, and that is totally like there's legitness to that, but like some people just are not cut out for it. But every day
yeah.
that I was there for the past 3 weeks, and then the 2 weeks before that when I was doing my first AT, and then all the drill weekends, I'm like, I really enjoy this. I'm having the time of my life. I actually do not care if we have to sleep in the field or we have to eat MREs. Like shooting big weapon systems and like being surrounded by just a bunch of fucking dudes that want to just be dudes and like do man shit. Like, excuse my language, but like it's awesome. It's awesome. And especially, I think you can maybe attest to this, although you're in a medical unit, so this may not be the same. But as a medic in like a line type unit, you get treated so well. Your life is
You
so
do,
good. Like
you do.
people come to you for everything. It's honest. It's amazing.
If you're a squared away soldier, yeah, you can get after it. But I want to transition into our next segment a little bit. I know you're talking about deployment. I don't want to, tell like for OPSEC reasons say where you're going and all that. But getting into the Venezuela bit, let's just pretend like let's theorize right here. Like say, I mean, however soon you deploy in the next few months or so, say all of a sudden your unit's like, oh, we're going to Venezuela. Would you feel ready for that?
So like personally, yeah, I think I would. So I've
But do you
I've
think
done a
your
lot of
unit
thinking
you
about this, but yeah, no. Go ahead. What were you saying?
do you think your unit would be? Because I'm curious. I know you guys like train. I know National Guard Reserve. You guys deploy more, so that's another reason too. Maybe why you want to join National Guard or Reserve. But I know you guys deploy more. But yeah, I'm thinking too. Like I know shit's popping off in Venezuela right now. We have an insane amount of manpower moving down to that area of operations. But let's just theorize. Say you were going down there. Would you? I know you personally would feel ready, but do you think your unit would be ready? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's break this down from a logistical
Yeah.
standpoint, right? So let's say tomorrow the Venezuela thing went like really hot, okay? So we know so what would happen ultimately, Marine Expeditionary Unit would hit the beach, they would take land immediately. Green Berets slash Rangers would probably seize the nearest airfields. They would the Ranger Regiment, 75th Ranger Regiment would take whatever airfields were strategically important, along with probably Navy SEALs and other SOCOM assets. We'd see like Green Berets would have probably dropped closer to the Colombia border and start, kind of, if they're not already, they'd start building up some form of integrated services with local militias. Like their job is to they're what do you call it, like a combat what do they call it, like
You talking about Green Berets, like their combat support behind enemy line stuff, or
yeah, they're not combat support, they're like a multiplier, they're a force multiplier,
yeah,
so they go
force
back
multiplier,
there.
yeah.
So they'd be on the ground, they'd be like force multiplying with groups along with civil affairs, right? So by the time like a military police unit really hit the beaches of Venezuela, I think that we would be more of a like detainee ops. We'd be doing more
Yeah.
LE&O. It would. I'm not like I can't imagine like military police on the front line because that's not like they're not built for that, right? They don't
Yeah,
have
that's not the
the
role. Yeah.
aerial support and like tanks and it's just not a feasible option. We have the Humvee and the what are they, like the LVATs or LSAT, like the
LM,
big armored
LM,
up vehicles.
yeah, I think we have LMTVs in my unit, but they have no weapon systems on them.
So like yeah, so we have those. I can't even, what are those things called? I'm
Are you talking
qualified
about
to
the big cargo trucks or what?
know these new. Have you seen these new? They're replacing the Humvees.
The modern Humvees, like the updated Humvees.
Well, yeah, they're like updated Humvees. They're like troop transports, but they carry 4 people, but they're like elevated. They're like off the ground by like 5 feet.
Let me see. I looked up Humvees and it showed me movies. Excuse my spelling. They talk about the new Oshka Humvee. It's got that
Yes,
cool
yes,
ass
yes,
grill
yes.
in the
What's that
front.
called? What's that called?
Yeah. I don't know the military name. JLTV.
Yep, that's right. It's like Joint Light Tactical Vehicle or something like
Yeah,
that. That
joint.
thing is
Exactly,
mean, dude.
exactly. Yeah, that thing looks sick, dude. I don't know. I know it's very new. I know Humvees are kind of an icon of the United States military, but so that's what you guys are operating with. You guys have those?
Yeah, we probably have 50 of those JLTVs in our motor pool.
Lucky fucking bastard, you're reservist. You get all this cool shit. You're making me jealous, man. To be honest, I mean, you're talking about in Venezuela, like you're talking about. It sounds like you're getting into the regime change. Do you think that's what's going to happen in Venezuela, or do you think it's going to be like airstrikes and all that, like what's been going on with the cartel boats and all that?
Yeah, I think it'll be airstrikes. I think so. My guess is that this thing blows over like most things in the world
Yeah,
very quickly. This feels like a power movement. Like,
it
hey,
does.
we're
Yeah,
America. We're still here. We need oil and stuff like that. I haven't seen like a logistical reason for this to actually happen, and I don't want to,
yeah.
I don't want to put myself in a
If
position where I
we
could like potentially get in trouble with what I'm about to say. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like
like a forever war.
no, it doesn't feel like a forever war. And I think like I think this is a power thing. They're gonna like I don't know if you saw Maduro like dancing to the "Make Peace Not War" song the other day, but
I did
like
see that. I
there's
did
there's
see that. Yeah.
no yeah they're not ready. Like they don't have a chance. And I know we said this about Iraq, and I don't want to do another Iraq. Don't get me wrong,
No,
but
no,
let's not pretend like we didn't go in there and spank their ass.
and
Like
walk their fucking ass.
yeah,
That's
they're
our biggest thing. Like I talked with my sergeant about that, like Afghanistan, Iraq. Once we complete the mission, like for example, when we got Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, we should have left. That's how it should have been. But instead, we stayed. We are not good at regime change. We are good at destroying people's shit and taking what we want. I agree with you. I think it's a show of force right now from the Trump party. I think that's kind of a big thing. I mean, you look at how many different what is it? Presidents had different what do you want to call it? Wars, conflicts, right? How successful each of them were. I think Trump's looking for his own. And I think it's kind of I mean, we don't I know like it's hard to get into the politics with our job and all that. We don't want to get in trouble, but it's a little bit muddy right now. It's kind of vague too what's going on. You've been seeing some of the general step down. You've been seeing the constant strikes and all that. It seems messy to me. It seems messy to me, but messy or not, we can walk in there and take what the fuck we want. I mean, I know that's to the other audiences listening. I don't want death and destruction from on another continent away, but it's it's weird right now. It's really weird right now. It seems vague what's going on. I just saw a post earlier about we had two like Poseidons, which are the AWACS aircraft flying over what it looks like scouting out targets. There's rumors of B-1 stealth bombers flying over Venezuela. Stuff's kind of going weird. Like I said though, like you said as well, I think it's just going to be airstrikes. I don't see a reason to have troops move in. Granted, what Trump ran on, but at the same time, too, you look at the manpower that's going on in Venezuela, like the aircraft carrier strike group we just moved over there. How many aircraft we moved over to Puerto Rico that are in range to strike Venezuela? How many B-2s moved to that area of operations as well? It's yeah, I'm interested to see what goes on. Like for example, like I'm in Pacific Command right now, so that's not something I have to deal with. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
yeah, so
I'm just
let's
interested
let's
to
do a little
yeah get into
update
it.
on the situation down there since you've, kind of opened up the door here.
Mhm.
So he was inaugurated for his third presidential term in January 2025. That's Nicolas Maduro. In May 2025, regional legislative elections were held. Maduro's party won almost all the governorships, 23 out of 24,
Mm,
and retained dominant
I
majority
wonder
in the
why.
National Assembly.
I wonder
So
why.
yeah, I wonder why exactly, right? So the European Union has renewed restrictive measures, so sanctions against Venezuelan officials, citing ongoing repression, human rights violations, and lack of democratic process. So they're obviously like basically a dictatorship country.
Yeah, they're
They're
living
in
under
an
a dictatorship.
yeah, and they're under a strict like economic crisis right now. So if I pull this up, so Venezuela is under severe economic strain. Income poverty has reportedly doubled, now affecting 80% of the population. That's insane. Imagine if
That's
eight out
insane.
of 10 people you knew were like not just poor, but they're impoverished.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No, it'd be
inflation's
wild. I
crazy
think.
high. So state of economic emergency. So it's not like so like I know we're going in there for probably reasons that we're not going to admit, a la oil or whatever, what
Yeah.
have you. But
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, we
it's
can
not
get
like
into
we
that.
couldn't do some good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you look at a lot of Venezuelan like civilians. They're talking about how they want this regime change. They wish for it to happen, but at the same time, too, look at our history with regime change. How well is it going to be? That's what I'm concerned about. If we do it right, if we learn from the mistakes from the past, we can do it properly. But at the same time, too, you look at the past, how it's been, but also too, what was I going to say? I was going to get into the whole emphasis on this war that you could say that
Well,
might
it has to
happen
be
is the
fast.
war. It has to be fast, has to be quick, and also too, they run off the whole drug operations. Like it's a huge issue in our country. The amount of drugs that are moving into our country, the amount of profit that their cartels are getting. But that's not just a Venezuela problem. That's a ton of South American countries, Central American countries that are moving drugs into our country. And I agree with I'll say this: I'm not a big fan of Trump. I'm not a big fan of the Democrats. I think there needs to be a big change happening, but at the same time, too, Trump is right about the drug movement that's going on, but it's not just Venezuela, and that's what I worry about too. Is this a start for the U.S. to move into South America and kind of dictate how it goes, or do you think this is a one-off sort of thing?
I think it's a one-off. It has to be a one-off because the American public, like
Yeah,
over
they
the
don't have
past
the
30
appetite for
years, we're
this.
tired of these forever wars. And when you think about it, like post World War II, right? You had the Korean War and you had Vietnam, which are very much a communistic threat, where it was kind of a red scare. Hey, we want to eliminate the communist threat, and then you basically have nothing from like 1975 through 2001. You have like they went down to Panama and overthrew that guy, and then you have like Black Hawk Down. You have little skirmishes,
Yeah,
so but the idea of like this major war, like I think the American public is just sick and tired of being kind of the world police, and especially because like we're not naive anymore. The internet exists. We can see like
yeah,
we're not going down to
the
Venezuela
bullshit. We
because
can
we
sift through the
want to
bullshit.
overthrow Maduro, because we think Maduro is creating a humanitarian crisis. We're doing this because we want oil. Like we'll
Yeah,
put a bow on it and make it look like we're trying to do the right thing here. But and I'm not criticizing the government, but I am just saying like we did this. We did this with 23 years ago or 22 years ago with Iraq. We went into Iraq thinking there were WMDs. There weren't.
weapons of mass
There were
destruction.
never.
There weren't.
Yeah, they were never there. They were never
We're,
there,
we're,
right?
we're there just to throw our dicks around. Let's be so honest. And
Maybe the
fucking hit it good,
WMDs were the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. But yeah, you look at that's what I was gonna get into the OPEC stuff and all that. There's a country right out. Let me look it up real quick. But there's a country right next to Venezuela. And they have OPEC's been trying to get in there, including Venezuela with their oil reserves off their coast. But it's insane. And yeah, we can sugarcoat it how we want. Say it's a regime change. Say it's because of weapons of mass destruction. But what is it? Is it Suriname? That's the country. Insanely huge oil deposits off their coast. Same with Venezuela. OPEC tried to get in there. I think a few decades back, tracking how Venezuela went with the dictatorship and all that. And yeah, I think, like you said, tie bona if you want, say what you want. But this is a matter of control in the region, and we can get into the China stuff too. Like you look at the trade partners with China and the U.S. We have lost a lot of global trade partners in majority. Like you look at a map from the '60s, the '70s. We were the dominating trading partner of all countries. You look at China now; they are the dominating trade partners in the South America, in Central America. There is a whole road and belt initiative in Central America to make a highway all the way to the U.S., and it is all led by China and all that. It is, at the end of the day, it is a war of resources, and that is what it is all about. And our biggest thing, I mean, our drill sergeant said this. He wasn't your drill sergeant. Remember Drill Sergeant Hemingway?
Yeah, no, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was fucking phenomenal. You know what he told me? He told our whole platoon this. Our job in the United States military, we go in, we take people's shit, and we take what we want. That might be fucked up to a lot of people to hear, but that is the truth of the military, and that is what I think is happening now. Like you said, it's tied on a bow with, oh, there's regime change. Yeah, Trump is right. He's not a great guy. This is a dictatorship. Like you said, 80% poverty. Venezuela is not going in the right place. And I think this is a pretty, let's be real, a pretty easy win for Trump. And I think, I don't know. I'm curious to see if it really kicks off. There's been a lot of strikes on cartel boats off the coast of Venezuela and some Colombian boats as well that they've been claimed to be cartel boats. However, some investigations have also said that they were fishermen. So that is kind of a muddy waters sort of area. But I'm worried if it goes too far with these sort of strikes. Like if we're gonna do it, just fucking do it. Like commit to it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think there's a lot of legal issues too, like the whole announcing an actual war in Congress. There's a lot of loopholes the Trump administration is trying to go through right now, especially with the recent Epstein files. We can get into that later. But I think part of that is getting away from the lot of drama going on in U.S. politics right now and kind of distracting the people away
Yep.
from all that to this war.
No,
And we can get
no,
into
yeah.
that. Yeah, we can get into that too.
Yeah,
And I think that's
we
a good
don't we don't
transition right
even
now.
I think we're gonna have to do a separate episode just on
Mm-hmm.
that because the thing is like I don't care what side you're on. Like I actually think that like lately I've been a little more apolitical than I have in the past, and
Yeah.
just based on the
Yeah.
things that are happening in our country right now, there's literally no way that you could sit there and be like, yes, the MAGA party, I'm not associating them with like the Republican Party. The MAGA party right now is doing the right thing in any capacity because it's just like you see the Epstein files. Obviously, they just got voted to get released. Are we going to have a situation where Trump starts a war just because he wants attention off of that? Does he want to stove
Right.
off,
Yeah.
or stave off elections as long as he can so that, the more Democrats, because obviously I'm sure you just saw what happened in the elections a
With
few
the 20,
weeks.
22,000 files released. Yeah.
Well, in the Democratic like overrun that we had, 2.5 weeks ago, where they basically just retook everything, and it's like, I think this country goes in cycles where it's like people they honestly like I think people just don't they it, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for anyone. I was in basic training with you, but I think
Yeah,
that
we didn't get a
people,
chance to vote.
yeah, I know, right? But I think people are sick and tired of like just being deceived all the time. Am I
No,
wrong?
I 100%. I think America is waking up. You look at the social media, how many resources are accessible. You look at the left. For me, I know where you kind of stand. I kind of stand with you, but at the same time, I'm tired of the left being this weak kind of, what's the word? This kind of
Well, just like
this measly
it's not even it's
organization.
victim. It's like they're the victim all the time.
Yeah, they're the victim all the time. I don't think they're a strong party. And then you look at the MAGA sort of the Republican sort of side. And I'm not saying that's every Republican. I'm not
They're
saying
the
that's every
exact
Democrat.
opposite. They're the
They're
bully.
the exact opposite. And we are failing as a country. We're failing our people. It's either the left or the right. And we talked about this in a previous episode. The cold civil war that is going on, and it is 100% happening. I've had more time to think on it. It is 100% happening. A cold civil war dividing the people, and I think it's just a ploy for the rich to get richer and all that. And it's yeah, this war is a distraction from politics, and it's hard to get into. It's hard to get into given our job, but yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the left. I'm concerned about the right. I think we need to get away from the left, the right. It's either this or it's that. It's black or it's white. We need to unite as a people and stand for something, and quit having these rich fucking assholes who do whatever they want. I mean, we will get into Epstein files. I know in another episode, and we will say we want. We do have the freedom of speech, but how many politicians on the left and the right that are in the Epstein files? And I'm not just saying
Maybe
these
hundreds.
22,000
Maybe
emails that were
thousands. Like
thousands, I
genuinely.
believe. Like 80% of politicians, I think, are corrupt at some point, and I think a lot of them are involved in these Epstein files. Not only that,
Well,
did you
they
also
had to
see
get
the
rich somehow. Like I feel
They
like
had to get
most
rich somehow.
politicians, they started they started as a like a lawyer, or
normal people?
they
Normal people. You
represented
went to a good
a major
school.
oil
Went to a good,
company.
yeah. They went to a good school. They had the right parents, and now they got into politics and all that. They had and it's that whole, it's kind of that blackmail stuff. I think that's what the Epstein was. It's
I mean,
kind
I
of that
feel
power.
like
It's like we have that control over you. You'll do what we want. It's the big corporations taking over. We got to do a whole episode
I
on
just
this,
feel
man.
like,
But
yeah, we need to do a whole episode on the Epstein files, and we
yeah,
will. Like, I've been researching it, but it's
yeah,
just
I've been
like
doing a lot
I
of
want to
research too.
see ultimately what comes of this, and I'm waiting to do that until we get the full kind of list unlocked.
Yeah,
But I
once
do
we get a
think
little more
like,
information.
yeah, there's so much on the table right now because we know more is coming out. But I think like I remember when we were growing up, and I think you're about the same age as me, but like
Yeah,
I felt like politicians were all like ex-military, so they were all these like really like grounded individuals, most of them probably officers and stuff. But now it's this
it's
individual went to Harvard, or this individual went to insert college here, and
hmm
like sometimes I feel like it's like this person slept with this person and they ended up here.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, like that's where we're at. Like that's modern
That's
American
yeah,
politics, and I just want to get back to like
professionalism in
professionalism. Like
politics.
I reach across the aisle, like between
America
Obama and
first.
McCain, just really professional debates and stuff like that. It's so tiring to watch this stuff, and you're like, why are they acting
There's
like they're
they're
toddlers?
so they're so disassociated with the average American people, and I think everybody's getting tired of it. It's yeah, you go from the Epstein list to the corruption to the Cold Civil War we talked about. There seems to be a divide being forced, and I'm getting tired of it. And yeah, this war in Venezuela seems like a distraction, possibly from it. Tracking after those 22,000 emails that the Congress released, whether they're real or not, if they're dubbed or not. Trump did something happened. I'm forgetting, but something happened in Venezuela, and a lot of people were saying it's a distraction from the Epstein files and all that. Yeah, I think our government's. I know it's hard to say, but let's honestly, freedom of speech. It's our government's failing us right now as the average American people. It seems to be to me an us versus them sort of attitude, right? It is they grow their wealth, they grow their influence, and I mean, we could talk about too the defense contractors and these big corporations. A lot of these guys, these lobbyists, they'll go in, work as on the board as a CEO or a CFO, and then they'll come back work in Congress, and that's the cycle of what it is to be a politician now. You go to the right school, you meet the right people, you are set up for success, but you are so far from the average American people. It just has me concerned, but yeah, we'll definitely do a podcast on the Epstein files once more stuff comes out. Like I said, those 22,000 files were released. What is it? A few weeks ago. Trump was mentioned a lot. Bill Clinton was mentioned a lot. It's concerning. It really is. We need. It makes me concerned for the next presidential election. Like, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, I've been tracking the next presidential election. It's kind of wild to think who may run, and
Yeah,
everything
JD
that's going on.
Vance
Yeah,
and
I mean,
whoever the Democrats pick up or put up. Excuse me. Yeah, that's not what we need. Let's be so honest. That's not what we need.
all right. Well, let's
But
pivot. Let's
yeah,
pivot a little bit.
let's
Yeah.
pivot.
So,
Yeah, let's pivot.
we've got on the docket kind of, and this is kind of a shotgun episode because we needed to get an episode up.
Yeah.
Is the update on the Russia-Ukraine war? I've seen
Oh
that
yeah, let me pull up that.
that America has basically approved like a 19-point plan, which was mostly based on like Russia's kind of policies and demands, which I think is
Yeah, that's
wild,
what
by
I
the way.
heard.
It's wild that the
Yeah,
invading force gets to decide what they want to do when they're losing. Like, they're taking ground, so I guess in theory they're winning the war, which is like the Russian way, like just meat grinder
yeah.
style. But it's very
You look at history of
slowly,
how
and
Russia's war.
well, in
Yeah,
Ukraine
it's the
is
exact same thing.
is like the casualty ratio is still like 6 or 7 to 1. Like I
I
was
think
just
yeah,
looking
it's
the other
five to
day,
one,
like
something
there's
like
like a
that. Yeah,
million Russian casualties.
yeah, and you see a lot of footage coming out from Russia too. It's kind of sad how they're treating their own people, and yeah, the brutal war crimes they're committing. But yeah, it seems to me like we're pandering to the Russian view. Historically, Russia's been our enemy. It seems like to me Trump is kind of agreeing with Russia. I mean, people are saying it's a one for one sort of deal that Russia made, and Ukraine. Think about Ukraine. What are they left to do?
Well,
Right? Europe's not
that's my
stepping up
thing,
for
right?
them.
So like if Ukraine signs this deal, which I haven't seen the newest, I don't even know if they put out the newest stuff on it, but if Ukraine signs this and they give up ultimately like a giant plot
amount of their
of
territory. Yeah.
land to Russia. What was the whole point? And it's
Well, yeah.
in my mind, it's like Russia at some point has to just take what they have and kind of just lick their wounds and restart. But like the
And
longer this war goes on, I hate to say what I'm about to say, but it's better for America because it's like, oh, you're just going to kill Russians for us and continuously cripple that country and that
yeah.
economy to where we don't even need to recognize them as a threat. Because I'm at the point now where, aside from nuclear warheads, I'm not scared of Russian military at all. They're
No,
so, like, their entire initial force is gone.
is gone. And I mean, you track in the Spetsnaz, how many of them, 90% of them got wiped out on the initial. I mean, that number might be wrong, but around 90% of them got wiped out on the initial invasion and airborne operation in Kiev. Or around, maybe not Kiev, but around, it was a big city. 90% of them got wiped out. The how many troops they're losing, it's the corrupt. I mean, there's corruption on both sides, but especially the corruption in Russia. But it seems like we're pandering towards them. I mean, I'm looking here too. China and Russia. China's increasing their war support, like how much it costs for them to export controlled items to Russia. To Russia, like how much more they've increased that. Russia they will win historically, but at the same time, it is in the benefit of Europe and NATO, the U.S., NATO, to have Ukraine fight this war. And at the same time, we're making this deal. It's pandering towards Russia. And are you tracking how much land um, Western companies are buying up, like mineral sites and all that in Ukraine?
Yeah,
It
no,
seems to me like
I've been reading a little bit
there's
about
no
it.
there's no winning on Ukraine's side, and they're like you said, 5-1 odds. I mean, we could walk in there right now. We could walk in there right now, the U.S. military, and we could fucking walk the Russian military. They are a joke right now, but we are pandering towards them. I don't understand that at all.
I
And
think
once again,
the truth is, and God, I don't remember who I was talking to. Oh, so I met this guy the other day, and he said that, and take everything with a grain of salt, but he said that his buddy was a Green Beret, and that he was actually in Ukraine a few years ago training Ukrainians how to like basically take trenches back from Russian soldiers and a couple other things. And I tended to believe it, or at least entertain the thought. And it's just the concept of like, it's just a reminder like how much better we are at this kind of shit than they are. And
yeah,
the Ukrainians, like the invading force always has the disadvantage. The holding force or the defending force, they have everything to lose.
home
Russia
field
doesn't
advantage.
care. Russia will throw bodies in there until they get what they want. They're at 20%. They occupy 20% of Ukraine, which tomorrow could be 18% because Ukraine will just push back on, whatever Kursk or wherever, because that seems to be how this goes. It's kind of a stalemate. And after they're about to hit the 4-year mark, we're like 2 or 3 months
It's
away from
insane.
this being
They said
the
3
4-year
weeks.
mark. It's been longer than World War II.
We're at 4 years. We're approaching 4 years, and I mean, you look at the Ukrainian perspective. Is it not in their best interest to agree to a peace deal, given how the Russian military works? Let's be honest. The Russian military, if it continues, they will take more territory, and I think that's what Putin wants. But if Ukraine accepts the peace deal, they get to keep what territory they have, and that's not. I don't think that's fair. But granted, they're not part
the
of
thing that
NATO.
I'm worried about. So, like, realistically, I want this war to go on as long as it can, just because I think that Ukraine can fight Russia to the point where Russia's damn near a third world country. They're on the verge of breaking economically.
They already are.
They are so close. I wonder,
they're-
what could happen? Could Putin be overthrown? Like, what will happen if this war continues another 3 years? Because realistically, if it continues 3 more years and they take 30% of the country, like, is Ukraine going to give up then? They didn't give up at 20%. So, but my biggest fear is like all the volunteer fighters, because there's a lot of Americans, British,
There are a lot.
Australian, like high
The
quality.
Azov Brigade.
Yes,
All
exactly.
the foreign nationals.
Yes.
I've been watching a lot of videos on those guys. Those guys are getting fucking after it.
And they are way better. No offense to Ukrainians.
They
but
love
they are
it, dude.
smoking Russians.
Dude, they love it. Have you seen the GoPro videos of that American dude? He's like a frat bro who's in the Marines. Dude, have you
Are
seen the
you
combat?
talking about Chosen Company? Because they were over there just
Yes, dude.
fucking them up.
Dude, they love it too, man. There's guys going over there from other countries who just like those guys want to go to war. They fucking love it, dude. Oh, there's a drone overhead. We're about to die. I don't give a fuck, dude.
Dude,
They love it,
they
man.
realize like the funniest thing about Chosen Company, and if you are listening to the podcast, you need to look up Chosen
Yeah,
Company.
you need
They
100%.
they are just like the dude that founded it, or the company commander essentially is a National Guard like retiree, and he was like, yeah, I didn't get enough of combat experience when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, so I just came over here and started killing Russians.
I'm
Like
just
that's it.
about it. I'm just that's his whole thing. I just love to be here. He's like a frat bro. You should watch his videos. They're in the middle of combat and he is so nonchalant about it. "Hey, there's a drone overhead, no worries.
They're
We just
accused of war crimes too, which I think is funny.
yeah, which I think is hilarious. But you're also tracking Russian war crimes. Yeah, it's wild. Some of the videos I see, I mean, I don't know why Instagram puts out these videos, but it is wild. But yeah, Russia is in a full wartime economy as if it was World War II, and they are struggling right now. As you said, from our perspective, as a U.S. perspective, push the Russians, degrade them all the way down back to they're pretty much our third world country. But it's up to Europe to take the hold on this, take the initiative on this. It's not our spot. But at the end of the day, when it comes to human life, what Russian does with their drones striking civilian infrastructure, striking civilian apartments and all that. I get why they want to end it. I get where this peace deal needs to come in, but at the same time, we don't need to pander to Russia. We can send in Estonia, and they could push them back. It is embarrassing from Russia, and I think yeah, I don't. I think that's why we look at the Venezuela war. People are like, oh, we got to worry about Russia. No, Europe has to worry about Russia, and even then, barely. They touch Poland, they're done. We have other things to
Oh,
worry
dude,
about.
they
We talk
can't
about
get
the
past Ukraine.
no,
Poland
they
is
can't.
10 times the
Poland,
might, if
Poland
not
would
more.
walk them. Would walk them. Would walk them. It's embarrassing. There are so many issues going on in Europe right now, but Poland, they touch Poland, it's over. It's over. And you look at this China shit. I know a lot of like these briefs I've been to, they always talk about, oh, we got a war to prepare for in 2027. That's not going to happen. Let's be so realistic. And I think that's why Trump is focused on a new war, on distracting the American people, uniting them in some sense. But I don't know. It's not the same thing as like when 9/11
Well,
happened.
let's,
It was a
I
lot
mean, let's,
different
that's,
compared to
and
now.
okay, so let's talk about that. We're going to go brief on the China thing in 2027 because recently there has been an uptick in that a little bit. All right, so let's say the
Yeah, tell me
2027
about
thing
that.
pops off, right? Taiwan gets
Let's
invaded
yeah.
by China. Realistically, that would happen on a random Tuesday. We wouldn't know about it. And
I would.
and the truth is like by the time that boots are on the ground, the war would be over. It would be a conflict, not a war. I think that it would be a very aerial dominant, naval dominant type battle if Taiwan can, try to fight off most Chinese ships with all those hyperballistic missiles and shit that they're buying, or hypersonic missiles. Then they'll be fine. The reality is that China continues to say that they want a peaceful reunification because they understand that they can't win that war. And the United States is very much the same way. They can't win that war against China.
No
Like,
one's winning. No
yeah,
one's
no
winning that
one's
war.
winning, and the global economy will shatter. And
We'll
then,
shatter.
and if nukes don't get involved, it'll be a complete rebuild, and it'll be up for grabs who is the new dominant power. Because the
100%. There
reality
will be
is,
a huge power vacuum. You look at EU. If EU decided to like reunite, like actually become a superpower, they could do it. But let's be so realistic. It is China and the U.S. right now. Russia is a far, far third right now. It is, yeah. There would be a huge power vacuum from that. Then that's why I think it is not in the benefit of either the Chinese or the United States to have this war happen. Let's be so realistic. You know what we need to do from our perspective? Manufacture the chips, which is
I
already
think
trying to
China
take place.
will I think China will play its cards. They will do
Yeah,
everything to set up an invasion, and then they will look for negotiations in order to become once again a more dominant party. This is where I do tend to relatively agree with the Trump party is like they're setting sanctions now, they're setting tariffs now, so that they have that backing to kind of come off of when
Yeah, they can
China
already
comes to
come
the
to
table
the
in 2027.
they can already come to the table and discuss a resolution. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean that's a I think that's the biggest thing to worry about, and at the same time I don't think that's a huge thing to worry about because I don't think it's going to happen. I talk a lot about this with my guys in my unit. No one thinks it's going to happen. I'm Pacific Command. If the war does break out, I will be the first to know. I will be boots on ground in the Philippines setting up a role too. Whoops, OPSEC, who cares? Whatever.
Whatever. I mean, the truth is, look,
That's not a big deal.
yeah, no. This is the reality. Like, you join the army, you don't. I wouldn't say you expect to fight, but you're ready to fight, right?
You're ready to
And
fight,
the
yeah.
Marines, truthfully, are always ready for. They're
They're gonna
fucking
get
itching
after it.
for it.
They're
You
gonna
know,
get after it. A 6'4" Marine versus a 5'4" Chinese dude.
Star of Chinese
Yeah,
dude. The 6'4"
yeah,
cornbread
yeah.
Marine versus the 230
With a
pound.
with a room temperature IQ, yeah.
Yeah,
Versus
all
a
he
five.
knows is bullets and band-aids.
Yeah, it's barely band-aids, just bullets.
Maybe like bullets and beans. So okay, all right. So yeah, no, I think most people like. Do I want a war with China? Fuck no. Why? It's not just about me. It's about like I just know that it'll be the end
But the whole
of
world.
yeah, but like it'll be a global power shift. The United
Yeah,
States will basically fall from its reign.
yeah,
Realistically, I think that a Cold War is already happening. I think that
100%,
we'll see
100%.
like maybe some small conflict, but proxy wars still remain king. And in reality, I do actually hear me out. I think the United States needs to back off a little bit in the Indo-Pacific and allow China to be the major power there
I
because
think so
it's not
too.
our job to police the whole fucking world, right?
It's not our job. No, and I think we could have taken this a lot different way. Hey, China, we make chips in our country. We have an even distribution of them, and you control that side. We control this side. And let's be so realistic. You think about it from the most powerful countries in the world. We take what we want. You take what you want from that side of the world. That's how it works. We're the biggest countries in the world. Our GDP is just off the charts compared to every other country in the world. It could
Well,
be
I
yeah.
mean, the truth of it is that China, Russia, and America. Now, Russia needs they're removed from this
They need to
conversation for the
catch up.
time
Yeah,
being.
they need to catch up.
But
They need to catch up.
but the truth is that they should be the global leaders, and it is on them to really sustain or create some form of like peaceful world, right? That's why the global war on terror is so great. Is it's like, yeah, we fucked up. Probably shouldn't have invaded Iraq, but fuck terrorists. They
But
suck.
that, but that,
Everybody can
but that
agree.
was, but that was a fight against true evil. You look at that. You look at those
Well,
terrorist
that's what I'm
organizations.
saying. That's what I'm
That was
saying.
true
Like, fuck
evil.
them.
This is a war of normal people versus normal people trying to make ends meet, listening to their government, sending them wherever they want. You
Well,
know what
when
I'm
we
saying?
when we look at like the last two world wars, because you realize like China would ultimately become like a world conflict. When we look at like World War One with the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, there were so many pieces, and then you have a public official get assassinated, and then you have all these treaties and stuff, and that ultimately culminated into what we have as World War One, and then that kind of spiraled because we put all these heavy burdens on Germany and stuff like that, and then you have Adolf Hitler rising, Germany can't have a standing army and stuff like that, and then they
Yeah.
become, World War II, and honestly, the United States was going to, stay out of it until Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, which I've actually been doing some research on that, which fascinating. But my point is like there's none of those things happening today. Like I don't see China
The
really
world's a lot
like
different.
bombing America. I don't see them like really poking the bear, more just like rhetoric and
Yeah.
conversation and saber rattling. And I don't think the I don't I mean how many casualties in World War II between all countries? What, like
Yeah. What
fucking
was
10
that?
million
60 million?
between?
No, I
Yeah,
think it was like 60 million, something like that.
I mean, 6 million Jews died before we even get into like the
Before
500,000
we even get
American
into the
GIs and
yeah,
so on and such
42.
forth.
Yeah. It's wild. It's
But that's
absolutely
the
wild.
thing,
And I
right? Like, we don't need to go there. We're not at that
the
point.
world's changed so much. We don't that a war like that won't take place, and we like you said, we don't need to go there. The stakes are not the same. This is not a fight against true evil. This is a fight of economics. You know what I'm saying? And I think too, I want to quickly touch on also the I don't know if you saw in the news, but the Trump issued the Department of War, used to be Department of Defense, now Department of War, to start testing nukes again. I think that is the U.S. and Trump throwing his dick out on the table and saying, "Look how big it is," against other countries. Hey, Russia, look, we're still the top dog. Hey, China, look, we're still the top dog. We're still gonna get you guys. We have a Gen 6 fighter on the way. You guys copy us for everything. I think,
Man,
like I said,
just a
I
side
disagree with
note,
Trump
just a side
and
note,
almost.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
just those, like if we have a Gen 6 fighter, it's over, right? You realize that
Mhm.
like the generation of fighter, like what is it? The F-35 is like 80 and 0 in kill death ratio.
Yeah, it is insane. The F-35, the F-22, the F-22 was made in the 90s. Are you tracking? It's still the most dominant
It's the most lethal
aerial
aircraft ever.
platform of all time. It is insane. Have you just heard that story about the F-4 Phantoms of Iran had F-4 Phantoms and the F-22 completely
Is that the
stealth
one? It just came up
flew
like
up
underneath it or to the
yeah,
side of it.
flew up underneath it to check the weapons loads to make sure it could win the fight. And they weren't stealth, completely stealth. This aircraft made in the 90s. Flew up next to it and told the Iranian pilots. The Iranian pilots were like, "What the fuck? Where did this guy come from? You ought to go home, buddy. You ought to go home." And they were like, "All right, my bad." That aircraft was made in the 90s. In the
Yeah,
90s.
American air
Also, the
power is
is
unmatched.
insane. Also, the F4 Phantom. Guess who made that? We did. Is yeah, we own the military industrial complex. We really do, and I think yeah, a war with China is not sustainable. A war with Russia, we'd welcome. It's who is our competitor? China. Let's be so real, but that's an
Yeah, I didn't
economic
know if
thing.
you
So
were if
I
that was
think
like an open-ended question, but I
yeah,
mean,
no,
I
but
think
yeah,
Iran like
it's
I think like proximity-wise, like Iran, Venezuela, and you could make the argument like Russia because of the Ukraine proximity war on the
yeah,
other side, but like realistically, it's right now after everything this country's kind of experienced recently. I just think, like, in my mind, in my heart of hearts, it's like, hey, it's either we go fight another proxy war at some point or we go to the big
which is
one and
what's gonna
nobody comes
happen.
home.
Yeah, and nobody comes home. And that I like it was wild when I went into the newcomers brief. They were like, "Get ready for war in 2027. 80% of 75% of you guys are not coming back." What? Excuse me?
Yeah, I mean that's the
It's
that's
and
but
that's
it's
a
on the
realistic
United States and China to make sure that doesn't happen.
and yeah, and like we said, I don't think it's gonna happen. But if it does, no one wins, and that's exactly why I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think that's why Trump's looking at Venezuela. China war's not gonna break out. We can commit our resources to Venezuela, securing and distracting the American people from internal issues that's going on. And I think that's our biggest thing too is the internal issues. China is a dictatorship. Let's be so honest. They don't. It is a one man is making the rules, so they kind of do what they want. I say what is, but here in the U.S., it's just we are just such a shit show. And I think at the end of the day, we need to fix our country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fix your
And
house before you go to someone
yeah,
else's.
100%. Clean your shit up before you go to someone else's. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Yeah, it has me concerned. The whole distraction, Epstein file, stuff like that. We'll get into that and all that. But yeah, it's just I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. I don't think anything at the end of the day. I don't think anything too drastic will break out. 2027 comes, and I think we will all still be here. I don't think anything's gonna happen, to be honest. But it is fun to entertain. It is fun to talk about. Maybe not fun is the right word, but entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not finding the right word right now. But yeah, man, it's concerning. But yeah, I'm more worried about the internal stuff that's going on in our country.
All right, so let's pivot. Here are some things that have happened since our last episode. A lot's obviously happened. We had the longest shutdown in
Yep.
American history. I think that this was bound to happen. Just kind of a clash of two sides really disagreeing. I had everything pulled up, but I think most viewers kind of understand what happened. Basically, the Democratic Party was kind of upset over the American. It was on the healthcare bill or the was it the expiration of the Obamacare aid type
Yeah,
thing, something like
another
that.
feud with the left and the right, just disagreeing and
Yeah,
end of the day,
just
fucking over the
another feud, which
average
I
American
was
people.
Yeah, and
Rich people fucking over the average people. Yeah,
yep,
that's how it always goes.
that sounds about right. Honestly, I
Yeah,
didn't really care. I wasn't paying that much attention. It didn't
honestly, yeah.
impact my life that much.
I mean, you
Um,
didn't get paid. That did impact you. I did get paid. Thank you, Bruce Wayne. I know that's not whoever paid us, but I think a Bruce Wayne type figure did pay the active duty
Bruce
members.
Wayne
So
paid
shout
the
out that
American
guy.
military.
Batman himself paid the American military.
Batman is the
So
goat. Let's go back a little further. Something we should have talked about and wanted to talk about was the Pete Hegseth Oh my God, Pete
oh yes,
Hegseth
that was a while
meeting
ago. Yes,
with the generals in Quantico. I have here pulled up some of the stuff he brought up. I wanted to go over this because I thought it was an interesting thing. So obviously, I'm going to state what I think. I think this whole thing could have been an email or like a video that he just shot. I don't know why he needed to call in every admiral and general
every
in the
general and
military.
admiral
That's just
in the
silly.
military. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was the
Do you see
most
the
like, let's waste taxpayer dollars bullshit ever. However,
ever? Did you?
let's start with the very first bullet point I have here, and that's promotions. He said that promotions would be based solely on merit and performance, not on diversity quotas or other non-performance based factors. What do you think about this?
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Also, he did mention the health and fitness of soldiers. If you want to get into that real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna hold on. We'll break it. That's the next
Yeah,
one.
my fault. My fault.
Okay,
My fault. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
so I agree with it. My thing is like I do like I understand like the right is very against like DEI. I still think you need
I
to
am too.
implement some form of like DEI, but like you can't
No,
lower the standards.
no. I don't know. I think DEI, it's gone so far. Like, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I look at Disney, what they've done with DEI, and I kind of am grossed out by it. But at the same time, you are kind of right. We are a melting pot of every race in the world. And I think you are right. We need to accept everyone. But at the same time, standards cannot drop. So I
Standards
do
can't
agree with what
drop.
you're
I
saying.
mean,
I do agree with what you're saying. I think we need to have a representation from each side, but they
yeah,
also need
I mean,
to
my
meet the
thought is
standard.
like I don't want just a bunch of like white NCOs and officers, but when I think about it, like in my head, that's unrealistic because I feel like if you've been in the military, you would know that like
How many
40 to
black dudes are
50%
just
of the military is
studs?
actually a minority. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, no, no. I would say almost 60 to 70. No, you're right. I 100% agree. And
Like if you're
they're
white in the military, you're the minority.
I kind of noticed that, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with that. People join the military for many different reasons, but there is a standard to meet. Like, I was talking with one of my motor pool sergeant, a good friend of mine, and he was talking about how, what was he saying? It doesn't matter who you are, but the standards need to be met. You know what I'm saying? If you're a stud, you're a stud. Who gives a
100%.
fuck where you come from? But if you're yeah, if you're a stud, lead the fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you with that whole M2 or whatever 240 qualification versus, like, for example, we have people at my unit who barely refuse to work. They malinger all the time. They bullshit half the time. And there's a whole term we use a lot: heavy hitters versus shitbags. You know what I'm saying? We need
Yeah,
more heavy
I
hitters to be
think
noticed more instead of DEI hires. Oh, well, we accept you because of this, and I agree with that. That's what I agree with Hegseth about. But at the same time, too, if you have legitimate, like, leader, like, people, like, different races need to look up to people in the army. For, like, for example, you have studs that, like, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, right? You have a stud Puerto Rican who's a fucking sick ass drill sergeant. Doesn't matter where he's from, but he's actually good. 100% have him on power. You know what I'm saying? Have him as a first sergeant, have him as a battalion sergeant major and all that. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think a lot is changing, but I don't know if it's 100% in the right way. And I mean, yeah, you get into it, but also too, I want to get into the whole standards and fitness stuff and all that. But go ahead.
yeah, I mean that leads us into the fitness aspect of things. The amount of mandatory online training would be reduced to allow. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped.
I
I went into the
No,
training.
no,
My
no,
bad,
no,
my
no,
bad, my
no,
bad.
go, no, 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 no,
Physical
go over
fitness
that. Go over
standards
that.
would be raised
Yeah,
and made gender neutral for combat roles to ensure readiness for war. All right, here's my hot take. People are going to be upset, but So like Navy SEALs, Rangers, etc. combat roles, you cannot lower the standards for women
No,
because
no.
the truth is like unless you're an all women platoon or company, you're expected to perform at the same level as a male. You cannot like in any expectation. Like if a woman can do what the expectation is, I don't have a problem with that
I don't
whatsoever.
either.
But if I'm going to stick a female in there and lower the standards,
Have to lower the standards, yeah.
that's just not acceptable.
And there are a few females out there who have made it to the regiment, the 75th, and all that. Very few, but there are people like we just got a new first sergeant. I'm not going to mention her name and all that, but she's a first sergeant. I look at all the other female first sergeants, fat. You know what our first sergeant is? Fucking stud. She's a PT stud. She deserves her fucking job. She's a cool fucking person. She gets the people. That's what I'm talking about. That's what needs to be promoted and all that, but not people who don't deserve it. I 100% agree with what Hex has said about the standards. Like, there are people
100%.
who are being,
100%.
there are people who have been, from what I understand, I've only been in this unit for what is it, 6-7 months? Not even 6-7. Excuse me, sorry, it's a meme going around our unit.
6-7.
6-7. But anyway, people need to meet the standard. If I'm going to go to war with these people, I need to trust the people to my left and right. And if you are a fat NCO or a fat Joe who can barely make a run time, trekking a 2-mile run in 19 minutes is pathetic. If you don't hit 16, 17 minutes, I don't trust you. I don't want you to support me in war. I don't trust you to carry my body out of the battlefield.
The truth of it is like, and it's not women, it's fat people too. Like it's just people who can't do the job.
Yeah.
My thing is like, if you're not willing to put in the effort in order to improve yourself to a point where you can max a PT test, how the hell am I supposed to trust you to put in the effort to get me home when shit hits the
drag
fucking
me
fan?
off to drag me off the battlefield when it fucking matters. Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm very good at cardio, but I'm not the strongest person. I do need to improve on that. But like end of the day, I can carry you off the fucking battlefield, and that's what matters. And I've noticed being active duty, I don't know if you noticed this, you're not at your little a lot, but people are now getting flagged. People who haven't been flagged during the Biden administration are now getting flagged. Hey, you have 6 months to get into fucking shape. If you're not, you are out of here. We have 2 NCOs in the unit who are trying to leave because of that situation, or 1 NCO and a few Joes because of that situation. We have guys, they call it remedial PT. So after we get out of work, they are forced to do remedial PT and make sure they hit the standard. And I get, at some extent, some people have different metabolism. Like, for example, me, I have to eat a lot to gain a lot of weight, right? Kind of different, but at the same time, too, you need to put in the work. Like I said, I need to put into work with the strength training. Those guys need to put into work with the cardio and stuff like that and losing the weight. And I agree with it. And I don't agree with a lot of the stuff Hex has said, but the things we are mentioning right now, I do agree. And we can get into the rest, which I just kind of pretty much disagree about. But yeah, I agree with that bit right there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm 100% on board with like raising the standard. Like, and that goes for myself. Like, I don't give a fuck if I'm a fat ass and I need to fucking push myself to a higher standard, then I'm going to push myself to a higher standard. Like, fuck being average. That's for the weak. Like, do you think the average come home after a battle? No, it's the fucking
Nope.
studs
It's the people who
that
want
put
it.
in the
It's the
work,
people who
right?
want it.
It's
That
the
put in the
people
work.
prepared. Let's
Tracking,
move in.
yeah, keep going. My fault.
Well, I was going to say, let's move into the next bullet point. He talked about training a little bit. This is just what I have on this kind of clip notes thing. The training, the amount of mandatory online training would be reduced to allow for more time in the motor pool and on the shooting range. I don't think anyone needs more time in a motor pool. However, shooting range time,
they don't.
range time, yeah, 100%. Be the
100%.
most lethal force on the planet.
100%. Tracking my unit active duty, we need to train more. We recently had a shooting exercise and all that. I wasn't invited because I went 3 months ago. We need to train more. We need to have more shootings. And in my unit active duty, I don't know if you had to do this, but there's all these online trainings you have to do. I get
trust
that
me.
to some extent.
Definitely.
Yeah, you have to do those too. Let's be so honest. How many tests are you looking up on Quizlet?
All of them. Every single one of them.
Every
I
single
have
one.
them
I don't
saved
give
on
a
my phone.
fuck. I have them all saved on my phone. No one's looking that shit up. Teach me the shit. in an actual interactive class how to actually do my fucking job instead of showing me some online bullshit. You know, I did SEER school online. That's retarded. You know what I did? Chat GBT because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I'd
100%
I'd
agree
rather
with that.
learn how to apply tactical field medicine. Like recently, I just bought the Ranger Medic Handbook, and I've been going through that and studying that. And it's like, why
Yeah,
I would rather do this every day, study this Ranger Medic Handbook, than fucking go online and do another ammo
and
class on
do it.
how to
And that no
properly
one that you're
sign out
not gonna
ammo.
pay attention to. That no one on planet Earth is gonna pay attention to. My commander could listen to this and he'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I did the same thing. I looked that shit up online because it's stupid. I agree with that, but guess what? I haven't seen it change. But yeah, I think I mean yeah, what else did Pete Hegseth say? Get more into it.
Yeah,
I did a
all
little
right.
more research on this when it came out, but I kind of forgot. So if you have more, please indulge.
So he talked a little bit about culture. He said, framed at dismantling the woke ideology and returning to core warfighting principles with a stated rejection of what Hegseth called toxic leadership. I do think we've become too soft. I think you saw it. I saw it definitely in like AIT and basic. There is a very weak mentality among soldiers. I can assume
Shitbags we
that
call
this
'em.
is in all branches. Like people, I'm not saying hazing is great. I'm not encouraging hazing. I'm not encouraging
I
bullying.
am.
But there is
I
an
am.
element of thick
I
skin.
am.
Like you can't handle getting called fat, but you want to get shot at. Excuse me.
You know, I agree with that 100%. You need, I get, like, for example, in AIT Basic, what was the limit on push-ups and stuff like that? It was like, oh, you can't go over 20, otherwise you have to restart. They'd have loopholes around it and all that, but like, come on, let's be honest. You can push us a little harder. You went to infantry school. You know what it's like to actually be pushed, to actually go through shit. The basic we went through was absolute fucking bullshit. It was, I mean, it was easy. It was easy. The hardest part was having to stay awake. That was the hardest part, not being able to sleep
The
as
hardest
much as
part
I
of
want.
basic training is staying awake. And the truth
Yeah.
is like we got plenty of sleep. Like and
Yeah. At
and
the
I
same time,
always felt
the
like
6 hours.
they gave us too much personally.
Yeah. I was ready for them to wake us up in the middle of the night. Hey, you guys are going to get fucked up. That didn't happen once. AIT, hey, people fucked up. We're all going to get the dog shit smoked out of us. We did 10 push ups. That's pathetic.
We yeah, I
That's
never
pathetic.
my entire AIT and I mean we were fairly squared away, but we were still pretty fucked up. But like my
Oh yeah, yeah.
entire
Are you
AI
tracking the unit? You tracking the unit we were in? We were squared away. Rest of our unit, what were they doing?
yeah, no, I mean they were fucking off, but like
They're
we
retarded.
got through
Excuse
AIT
me. You can
without
cut
getting
that
woken up in
out.
the middle. Like it was a pretty clean cycle.
No, it
So
was yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with Pete Hegseth on the stuff we mentioned right there, but there's a lot of stuff he mentioned that I disagree with. Like I said, this could have been an email. You could have shown the generals. You didn't need to bring all the generals here just for this meeting. But yeah, the things we did discuss, I do agree with. Everything else, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think, and I tracking too. Like at the end of his ceremony, he's waiting for applause, and other generals gave him applause. He seems to be a bit of a Hollywood sort of figure instead of a actual political figure. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he does seem very like he's groomed for television, which he was like a
Yeah,
Fox News anchor. I'll ask you this last point, and I actually go back and forth on this last point. So tell me what you think.
yeah,
But he was talking a little bit about like lethality and rules of engagement. Now, initially, when I heard this, he said like he wanted a looser rules of engagement, more lethality among troops. It kind of sounded like he wanted the United States to commit war crimes. Initially, I was all for it. I was like, you know what? That's what brings guys home. Like, be violent, be aggressive, don't hold back, take the handcuffs off. After kind of listening to it though, and then thinking on it, I was like, well, isn't that the difference between us and like the bad guy? Is like
yeah.
we have rules that kind of restrain us in, whereas like the enemy doesn't. I'm actually curious to get your take on this because it does kind of seem like war crimes don't really matter anymore. And it almost seemed like that's what he was pushing for. But in the end, like whatever's going to bring you home is ultimately what's going to bring you home. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%. I think it all depends, right? So you look at the Obama administration when they came in, how much shit changed the war engagements. I did like Obama. Say what you want about him, right? I do disagree, however, with his rules of engagement. Don't shoot unless you're shot upon. You know how many casualties that? Granted, we didn't have a lot of casualties in the war on terror, but that still did not help. A lot of people got hurt because of that. Those were stupid. You see a dude holding an AK, he's probably a bad guy. I get that. But at the same time, how are you going to talk about rules of engagement when there is no current war going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's entertain the whole Venezuela thing. We go there, we do what we want there. So we absolutely fucking shit on them. We kill everyone. How many of those people, like I mentioned earlier, want the regime change that live in Venezuela that want to change? But guess what? We go in there and fucking kill them because Pete Hegseth said we could do whatever we want. That's kind of my
all of
issue
them
on
probably
it.
want a regime change.
There are left and right limits to it and all that. I think Obama went too far with it, and I think maybe it sounds like Pete Hegseth might be going too far with it. We need an in between. You know what I'm saying? There is a very obvious good and bad. At the same time, I know those that line gets blurred when it comes to war. What is good and bad? But at the same time, when I think, like, say I'm going to war with you, I want you to come home. You have a wife, you have a family, and not only that, you are a good friend. I will do anything in my power to bring you home. I don't give a fuck if I have to commit a war crime, shoot someone before they shoot to save your life. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I'm not going to go into a house and shoot everyone in that house because they're Venezuelan. You know what I'm saying? Seems very vague what Pete Hegseth described, and it needs more specification too. And also, like I said, what war are we fighting? Is this another war on terror, which it sounds like it might be, or is this a conventional war? It all depends. It all depends. But yeah, at the end of the day, think about the people to your left and right. Think about who you're fighting with and who you want to bring home. That is the most important thing. But at the same time, don't be a fucked up dude.
Yeah, no, I think that's all a good point. Yeah, I'm willing to do anything to bring everybody home, and the Obama administration definitely came in and kind of handicapped soldiers, and especially like
Yeah.
special operations units. If you've
Yeah.
been, actually, this is a good point. We'll segment into what are we reading, what are we watching recently, because I have been listening a lot to like the Sean Ryan podcast
I have
with
to, yeah.
Matt Bissonette. I actually just picked up his book yesterday because I listened to that podcast and I'm going to start reading it, No Easy Day. And he talks a lot about how the Obama administration came in and started kind of handicapping like what they're capable of doing in terms of rules of engagement and some other things. I'll go into the books I'm reading right now. I'm reading War Dogs, which talks about canine special operations units and military dog handlers. Not
That'd be
War
the
Dogs
coolest job ever.
like the movie with what's his face, Jonah Hill and whomever. I'm also reading The Horse Soldiers or 12 Strong, which is a movie about the first unit in Afghanistan. And then obviously I
With
told
the
you I picked up
horses?
No Easy Day. What was that?
Yeah, there's another fascinating book that you probably should check out. It is called it's the John Chapman book. He's the first Medal of Honor ever recorded. They get into that stuff. Most fascinating read I've ever read. It gets into the whole special operations stuff. John Chapman. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't think so.
It is a fascinating read. You should read it. They talk about the most insane stuff. Dudes doing halo jumps in Afghanistan, CCTs calling airstrikes while they're falling out of the air. It is insane shit. They talk about what it means to be part of that unit and all that. We none of us are in that unit, but it just shows to the might of what we can accomplish and all that. But yeah, I got to check out some of these books. I just looked up the Sean Ryan, Matt Bassinet. He's a big guy. Canine dog handlers and all that. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I picked up those three, and then I'm reading the Ranger Medic Handbook, and obviously like the Ranger book, the Ranger Handbook. Just trying to memorize both of those. The Ranger Medic Handbook is if you are a EMT paramedic or you are in the military in any capacity as a medic, you got to read the Ranger Medic Handbook. It's absolutely it breaks down medications, administration for human, canine,
Really,
whatever. It's fascinating.
I did
It
not
goes
know that.
into it goes into depth on everything. I think if 68 whiskey AIT was serious, they'd make everyone buy it.
Yeah, well, I'll check it out. I know my friends, they went to RASP and all that, and they have the handbook, so I'll check it out for sure. We can do a what's the segment called again on the reading segment?
Oh shit. I mean, we'll have to. I'll get back to
Yeah,
you. Like we'll
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 come up with
implement it
that.
in the next one, but it's something we got it figured out.
Yeah, we'll have that for sure. But yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Give me another book idea. I'll check that out. But yeah, no, I think that's a read I think everyone should have. Like I said, I'll make sure I get on that for sure. But
Are you reading anything
yeah,
lately? Are you reading or watching anything?
watching some no, nothing really. Brain rot shit pretty much. Adventure Time. That's about it. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Yeah, no, Adventure Time. All right.
Yeah.
So, recently, what have I been watching? So, serious note, I've been watching I watched Boots on Netflix. That was fine, I guess.
My parents
But
told me check that out.
it's fine. I
It's
watched the
not okay.
Marine documentary on Netflix. That was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, no, like the
We're
best
talking
documentary I've ever seen.
really on Netflix, a marine documentary.
Yeah, it's about the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MU, and I won't spoil too much, but if you're fascinated, it breaks down like it's very recent. They're in the Indo-Pacific. It's kind of very threatening of the Chinese Taiwan type situation. They are on a rotation. They're in the Indo-Pacific area between Taiwan, Korea, and somewhere else. They're kind of rotating around. They're on a ship. They have like a machine gun team attached with like the infantry that does like boat raids, which you get to see. They have a helicopter pilot and a Marine like F-35 pilot, and then a company commander, and they kind of get their points of view, and they talk about, most of these guys haven't seen combat, and how like just how they're itching for combat and they are just dying for it. And it is a fascinating look. The other thing is, like, when I watched this documentary, I was like, good fucking grief. Like, the Marines are just so ready for anything. They are just
They
so
want it. They
elite, dude.
fucking want it.
Yeah, no, like, this felt like I was watching special operations, but it was just like another Marine
It's just
unit.
fucking Marines. And then you think about special operations too. Like there's levels. There's fucking levels. But yeah, I gotta check that out, man. We can do a cinematic recon on it. Send me the stuff you got, and we'll check that out for sure.
We're
But yeah,
absolutely going to,
and
because
we
it's
and we
it's
gotta
such a good doc.
yeah. And you mentioned the Bin Laden one too. Not Zero Dark 30, but that Bin Laden documentary. You said that one's worth the watch as well.
I'm watching the Bin Laden documentary, but I just watched the Matt Bissonnette interview on Sean Ryan, and I'm reading the book. And there are so many
And
contradicting points between the,
yeah,
like
I almost said
Rob
contraindications.
O'Neill. Contraindications. That's yeah, that's, tell me you're a medic without telling me you're a medic. But like, every time I hear like a different point from the Bin Laden raid, I'm like, what really fucking happened?
What
What
really
what is
happened?
what
Yeah.
is real?
Yeah, let's we could dive into that. We could do a full investigative report. We should become investigative journalists, man. We should get into it. We should really get into
As
it.
the channel progresses, I'm sure we'll have
As the
some form
no,
of
we will.
show.
I don't think I'll have time tonight, but I mentioned the missing 411. I've done a lot of research on that and I'm fascinated to present that to you. But yeah, no, I'm excited for yeah, cinematic recon. We'll get that going next episode. Send me the stuff you need to watch, and then I know we need to come up with a name for the book club we got going on. We could call it that for now. But yeah, man, I haven't. Like I said, I've been very busy. I know you have too, but you've been getting after it, so I'll check some stuff out. But
Yeah.
yeah, man,
Other things I've been watching that are like not as exciting. I watched Smiling Friends. Have you seen this on HBO?
my smiling friends. I think I
It's like
is it
an
with that.
adult
Is it with
Adventure
that old
Time.
dude? Yeah, with the yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about,
It was
dude. That
pretty
shit.
funny.
I
It was
think
worth it
I
was worth like the 2.5 hours I watched.
Yeah, yeah. No, I need to check it out. I've seen a lot of clips on it from on Instagram Reels and all that. I'm like I said, I'm on a different show right now, but that's the next one for sure. It looks pretty fucking funny.
Other than that, I'm gonna watch The Lord of the Rings as soon as we hang up on here.
Yes, 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 yes. I don't like Lord of the Rings. I'm not into fantasy. I'm not gonna cuss too much, but I'm not gonna say that because we might get canceled. But you need to watch it. You need to watch it. It is one of the best movies of all time, the best trilogy of all time. I love Star Wars. It might top Star Wars.
Okay,
That's
easy,
how good it
easy,
is.
easy, easy, buddy.
No, 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 no. I'm being easy. I'm being easy. That's how fucking good it is, man. You need to check it out.
All right, I'll give it a
Battlefield.
listen or a watch
No, no, no. You
tonight.
watch the whole thing. You don't have to watch it tonight, but the whole thing. You can't just sit there and watch half the movie. You have to watch at least one full movie.
All right, well, all right, all right.
Yeah, and then we can break it
Hitting
down.
it
It
up.
is
Yeah, no, I'll either get it in today or tomorrow. I got nothing to do. All right,
all right.
so let's go ahead and wrap this up. You've been playing any games lately? Battlefield 6 is pretty incredible.
I know you've been into Battlefield 6. Tarkov 1.0 just dropped. You said you're gonna get a PC or whatever, and you need to hop on. I suck at it, but I'm getting better. It is so much fun.
Tarkov's definitely on the list as soon as I get a PC.
I've been playing with my platoon leader and one of the Joes from my unit who are absolutely cracked at the game. But yeah, we'll hop on Battlefield 6 soon. Hopefully we can get a stream going. We'll start, maybe doing stuff. We can start Twitch, why not? Start doing stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean it's an all-encompassing type brand, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, I suck on console, but yeah, I'll hop on Battlefield 6. We could do stuff like that. Have some of the boys on, and yeah, we have a few episodes planned recently. I know we're gonna do a missing. Hopefully, you said you're off till Thursday, so hopefully tomorrow, in the next few days, we can do a. I want to do my missing 411 episode. Present that to you. Very fascinated by that. I also have one of the guys in my unit who talked about MK Ultra and some of the gifted classes he was into. He's telling me about it. Found it kind of fascinating. A little conspiracy stuff we'll get into and all that. I want to do an episode on that. And I mean, what else do you have?
Yeah. Sorry, lost you for a sec, but yeah,
No, you're good.
um, yeah, there were some things I wanted to do coming up, and we're at the point of the video now. We're kind of wrapping it all up. Some things I want to do. I want to do a range day. I've got some stuff set up. I think I'm going to do a night shoot. I'm actually going to try and see if I can steal a set of nods from the unit and borrow it for a day. Do a night shoot with. I'll go buy some tracer rounds for the AR-15.
You got dual tubes or single tubes?
We're running just little PBS 14s, so
Yeah, okay, we got
single
the same.
tubes. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the same. Yeah, dude,
I wonder if you're
I'll
looking
a
any
lot of
different under like the Modern Warfare. Like I don't know if you remember getting like the Modern Warfare Hardcore
Yeah.
edition from like 2010. You'd get some fake ass fucking nods.
yeah, fake ass nods, but they were like fake quad nods. But yeah, no, I think the boys and I at this unit, we got a range day coming up. Thinking about getting a Glock 19. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Just bought some new skis, so it's not really in the budget just yet.
Hey,
But no, I have
I'm
a
about to buy
uh,
a SIG M17. I have a Glock 19
no
already.
way.
Yeah, no, I love the M17. I will say the trigger sucks, but
The
semantics.
M17. Have you heard about the controversy of the M17? How it shoots off randomly?
So
People are not
the
a
one without an
fan.
external safety does. However, that's like a very unique situation, and the
Yeah.
circumstances in which required to make that happen are kind of unique. I
Yeah, very
think I
unique.
haven't had that issue, and I've put enough rounds through it where I'm very confident. I also really like the ergonomics of that pistol.
It feels. I think it's the P233. Something. It's an HK pistol. 4.5. Not a big fan of the ergonomics, but the Sig. It feels good. The M17, it feels pretty
It's
good in
definitely
the
better
hand. It
than the
does.
Beretta.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat Glock, but I agree with you. It's better than Beretta. It feels good in the hand. Especially with the extended mag. I think the weight's really well distributed, but has its controversies, of course.
I think it has its role. I personally don't
Yeah.
think the M17 or the M18 is a great like personal defense weapon. Like I wouldn't conceal and
I
carry
don't
it.
think.
But as far as a full size pistol 9mm, I don't mind it. I wish the trigger was a little better. Obviously the issues with it self
You could,
firing, but
yeah,
that's a unique situation. I
yeah.
think the Marines had it right where they had that M1911 updated variant for a while. I wish they had kept that.
Shit,
However,
my bad.
having 8 to 10 rounds of 45 versus like 20 rounds of 9 mil
That
it's
makes a
really
difference.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard for me
I
to be
mean,
like,
there's always that debate versus is it 45 the best or is it 9 mil? I mean, we haven't shot enough or killed anyone to know the real difference, but I like the way it feels. I like the way it shoots. Like I said, you can't beat Glock, but I think it's better. It's a better service weapon and all that.
I think you
We
can
could
beat
too get
Glock.
it.
Hot
Yeah,
take, but
yeah. Wait, say it again.
I mean, I think the Sig is better than Glock.
Glock reigns supreme. I will fight this any day of the week.
So I
It
mean,
is the most balanced
I
weapon
think
of
Glock
all time.
trigger is better, but I don't think like that's saying much because I think both the
No,
Sig and
no,
the
the
Glock have bad
balance.
triggers. But I
No,
think
no, the
like as
balance.
far as
But you
like
can.
sights and balance and the metal slide and like just the weight distribution of the Sig M17, like I don't know, man. I do think Glock, like the ability to really acquire targets quickly, because you can rapid fire or controlled pairs with that pretty quick. But man, I was hitting controlled threes with my SIG M17. Now the trigger was the only thing really holding me back, but I really feel like at distance that M17 holds up better than the Glock. That's just my opinion.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I disagree with that. At the end of the day, the 1911, the Colt is the best 45 ever
1911
made.
wins.
Yeah, 1911 wins every day of the week. 45, not a lot of rounds, but you're putting someone down with that. I know we can get into that one day, but yeah, I don't know. I'm Team Glock. I'm Team Glock for sure. But yeah, I'll have a shoot day coming up with the boys. We're talking about building a fucking CQB range up in the mountains one day. We go up and build that, do a little stuff there. You got one coming
Dude,
up. We'll
you're
do
so
that.
close
Yeah.
to Grantham. You should just go meet up with him.
I should just go meet. Yeah, once we get popping with a little more views, I could definitely head up there.
Hey, send it. You know what? Well, on the video, we'll say it right here. We'll send him an email and see what he says.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, why not? Why not? I'll try. I'll shoot my shot.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean,
man,
he's awesome. So
but yeah, let's talk about like future podcasts too. We mentioned Missing 411, MK Ultra, but we have a big one coming up. Do you want to talk about it?
yeah, we've obviously got what you just mentioned, and we're gonna have another podcast probably filmed within the next few days. But as far as our first interview, which we teased a couple months ago, we are coming up on the first interview, which will be this Saturday. The 29th. It's all set up. We're ready to rock and roll. We've got flags and everything. We're excited. We're interviewing Call Sign Brewery in Kansas City, Missouri. They are a veteran-owned and operated brewing company. I'm actually super stoked for this because it's going to be a complete like 180 from what we typically do on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to be talking about like geopolitics. We're going to be talking about like businesses, economics, like what they
Good story
did.
missions.
Yeah,
Yeah. In the
exactly. Yeah,
war.
their
Yeah.
story, their mission statement. I'm super pumped for this.
No, I think it's going to be our best episode. You're going to be set up in a legit studio. I'm not going to be able to make it, but I am beyond excited for it to see what comes out. It is our biggest episode coming out that we've ever put out. So yeah, I'm beyond excited, and I think everyone should be too. We'll be promoting it a lot, but yeah, get ready for that episode. It'll be coming out in the next month or less.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned, and we stepped away. Like, I guess we didn't really step away. It's just like we got
Yeah,
swarmed
busy
with
lives.
the army is demanding sometimes in life.
Yeah, it is.
So we stepped away for like a month, kind of get our head back on. We're back. We've got some time, and we're about to pump out a few episodes. I'd like to get 3 or 4 out before Christmas. I'd like to get back
100%.
into that growing phase. Obviously, we kind of stalled off because we didn't put in effort basically for the entire month of October or November. But now that we're back, we're going to be right back where we were. We're at it.
Hmm.
We're going to start getting more video because the common complaint amongst most viewers or listeners has been that we don't have any video to go along with
Yeah,
the audio, and it's tough. I think a lot of people are like, why would I want to pull up YouTube in my car and stuff? So we're working on, well, at least on my end, I've been working on getting a Spotify deal so that we can go ahead and put this up on Spotify, get our episodes out. And the YouTube aspect, we'll start doing a different thing on YouTube where we actually
yeah,
start doing videos and not as much
yeah.
like podcasting. But again, these things take time. So
100%. Yeah, we got a lot in the works right now. But yeah, biggest thing for us is getting the good footage up for the podcast and all that, and also like you said, getting that Spotify stuff going on. But yeah, we got a lot in the works right now. There's a lot to be excited about. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the next few months. Anything else on your end, or
No, I think we're good. I think the last thing is like if anyone's, still listening at this point, we want ideas. Like we want to know what people want to know. I know we talked about October doing kind of a ghost hunt episode. We had plans to do one and it just completely fell apart very
yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
So we may still do one in the fall just because like people are still interested in seeing one and I think we should still do it. If that's something of interest, go ahead and drop that down in the comment section and stuff. We want as many likes, as many follows as we can get. If you're on Instagram, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. YouTube is obviously doing as well as it can. Like I said, Spotify is going to be coming here in a little bit. We want more ideas for episodes. If you want to see like military CCAs, if you want to see like shooting videos, if you want to see us kind of break down, I've got some Ranger and Green Beret friends that I want to talk to about doing some videos. I met with a captain with the Air Force recently. He's a fighter pilot. So there's a lot going on that we want to touch
yeah,
on, and there's a lot that we want to bring out. But obviously, we have OPSEC and things we have to follow. So
yeah,
put that down in the
hundred
comments. Give
percent,
us a
yeah,
follow. Reach out on Instagram. Reach out on YouTube. Whatever you got to do. The next few episodes prior, or I guess after this one. So following up in the next few weeks, we're going to have a little more of a focused assessment. We've talked about what'd you say, like MK Ultra and some other
yeah. We'll
stuff.
have more focused episodes coming out and all that. Kind of moving away from our typical podcast format, just trying it out, see how that goes. Missing 411, MK Ultra. We are gonna have some guests coming on. Like you said, you have Rangers lined up. I have a Ranger lined up as well that I'm talking to. He's an officer that just moved to our unit, just came from the 75th. So yeah, we got good stuff lined up. We're gonna make shit work for sure, man, for sure.
100%. So anyway, the effort is in on our point, and we're really putting in what we got. So I think that about does it for this week's episode. We're back. We're ready to hit the ground running. This is kind of like the upgraded version of No Agenda. And as we progress through December, we'll see more and more engagement. Yeah.
100%, yeah, man. I think this is a great episode, man. All right, I think that's good to call it right now. If you want to end it,
So this has been the No Agenda podcast. I'm the host, Jimmy. This is my co-host, Jackson. Thanks for tuning in with us, and I hope you guys all have a great week.
cue outro music. That's a good one, man. So, like I said.